I think we also try to do our way out
Mhm.
of the hard. And I've been thinking about this right now, just in the context of our world and conflicts and wars and climate and so many challenges and issues. And you can at any given point be exposed to it,
Mhm.
right?
Anytime.
It's anytime. And I think for a lot of us, it can feel helpless and
Mhm.
like you can't, there's not enough that you could do ever. But then it's like, okay, what can I do in this desire to do something, to get that dopamine hit, to feel
Yeah.
like you can do your way out of the hard?
And there's just, yeah, there's
It
no, there's no way. And I think that's part of that substitution piece.
exactly. Yeah. And I think, sometimes it's sharing on social media. Sometimes it's gossiping about somebody. Sometimes, and it's this idea of like, I can do my way out of this. I can do something that will make me stop feeling this way.
No. And some of the best thing probably we can do is sit with the collective grief of it.
Mm-hmm.
This world is in grief
Mm-hmm.
right now. It's in grief, deep, 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 deep grief. And I believe that when we sit with that and we see each other's grief, we see it, we see how it's affecting our neighbor, the person sitting across from us, even if they don't even understand and they don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
I think of 2020.
Yep.
2020, I think we're still digging ourselves
100%.
the grief of what we all experienced. Many people lost people. People lost experiences.
Yeah.
I think of the kids that, those 2 years of not being in school, they lost experiences.
And
Uh,
did experience high anxiety households and culture.
oh my gosh, absolutely. Absolutely. And also to see, I can only imagine for kids seeing their parents experience something that they've never experienced before. Like we've never experienced a pandemic before,
Right.
like ever. Our parents had never experienced it.
We were a clean slate.
We were a clean slate. We had never been here before.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, I don't know if your kids are, at home or homeschooled or public school or whatever, but to go from your routine of school to all of a sudden everyone's at home.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's at home. I'll never forget when here in LA they shut everything down. Like it was like that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything shut down. And my husband, he was like, okay, so I'm gonna go and get rice
Question mark?
and maybe some flour and some whatever I can find. Just whatever
Yeah.
I can. And I remember going to Trader Joe's. There was nothing left at Trader Joe's. There was only like popsicles and all the stuff that nobody wanted, like all the
What
weird, funky flavors of things that no one ever buys, like, you know, peanut butter mozzarella or something,
yeah,
something
sure.
weird. It's like no one wants that. Trader Joe's, no one wants that. Um, and I remember we ended up going to this one small little market that is just so small that no one thought of to go to, and we found things. But I think of that, we it was our first time being there. We had never been there before. We had never done this before. And then to have to raise kids through this. And then you had the racial upheaval that happened,
Mm-hmm.
during George Floyd and the grief, the collective grief around that. Like, and we're still healing from that. Those
Very much still in it.
upheaval and political upheaval and a pandemic, a global pandemic, upheaval, more upheaval. That right there, it's so much to grieve. And I think if we just really sat with what we experienced, like really sat with it, I think so many of us, one, we would be so much better. We would be so much better. I believe we would be so much freer. I mean, I don't know if you
I think
remember,
freer for sure.
freer for sure. Like I think
Collectively freer.
collectively,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember looking online and seeing all of these during 2020. And there was a part of that was a little entertaining, but there were these people that would lash out at the grocery store, like online. I don't know if you remember seeing like, and it would be like this person would start like throwing the shopping cart. And I mean, of course, someone has it on camera and they're
It's a
react.
tantrum in the grocery store.
It's a tantrum and it's an adult.
Correct.
But I remember seeing that and thinking, they're grieving.
Mm-hmm.
They're grieving and they're hurt and they don't know how to process it because they weren't given the tools to obviously process it. And so now they're throwing cantaloupe in the grocery store.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and it's no different than our children when they have hard moments, right? When they're just like, ah!
Exactly.
They're not giving us a hard time, they're having a hard time.
Correct.
And it's the same thing with adults, you know, most people, I don't believe, mean us harm.
Agreed.
I think many people, when we see them reacting in such a big way, they're having a hard time.
They're dysregulated, and we haven't taught folks how to access
Mm-mm.
curiosity,
No,
whether
no.
it's for yourself or for others, when you're experiencing dysregulation, and how to tap into rest and ease, how to say, I have this desire to keep doing,
Mhm.
and if I can't access curiosity, that means I need to take a break.
I need to take a break. I need to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.